name is Amber and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're going to do my April wrap-up. This is actually the second part of my April wrap-up. The first part is actually my Owl's Magical Readathon. This is everything I read that was not a part of the Owl. So let's get started. The first thing I read was My Lady's Lover. This is a short novella which basically follows a countess and her employee, and basically the employee has been in love with her countess for a very long time. She's a part of this society that is all about sexual freedom, and eventually she tells her countess how she feels, and it kind of goes from there. It's a very short novella and I really enjoyed it, and I ended up giving this book 5 stars. Next, I read Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon. This I kind of picked up on the whim. This is a smutty kind of alien story where women were abducted by one set of aliens and dropped on a planet, and they're hoping they can get off of this planet before the aliens that abducted them come back, and a woman goes out in hopes to find a way to get back to Earth and finds a different alien, and they start to bond despite them not being able to communicate. And the one alien thinks she's his mate. It's kind of so bad that it's kind of enjoyable. I ended up giving this book 3 stars. I read The Final Rose. This it's about a woman whose mom convinces her to go on The Bachelor because her mom loves The Bachelor, and she ends up falling for another contestant. I ended up giving this book 4 stars. I really enjoyed this story. However, I do have a couple of criticisms with it. Firstly, it wraps up really neatly at the end, especially since parts of it involve another contestant, so you can kind of imagine how that goes. Secondly, the protagonist has a roommate during The Bachelor say some racist comments about her, and it's never addressed, and the protagonist actually considers this person a friend, and I feel like, and it's never challenged, and I feel like that can be kind of harmful. So I definitely think that that's something that should be have been addressed, at least challenged. So I don't want to like just say this was really great, it was cute and queer, so I kind of want to put that out there. Next, I picked up It Takes Two to Tumble by Cat Sebastian. This is a historical romance, and I definitely totally picked this one up because of the cover. It's fluffy, it's enjoyable, however, and it covers quite a few topics as well, so I ended up giving this one 4 stars. I picked up Talking to Dragons, which is the last book in the Enchanted Forest Chronicles. I'm kind of excited that I finally finished this series. I started this series during the Dewey's 24-hour readathon in October, and I actually finished it during the April one, which is where a lot of the books I'm actually talking about came from. I haven't been mentioning that throughout this, but pretty much everything that I've talked about so far I've actually read during Dewey's, which is why I'm like boom boom boom. There's actually a vlog, but I'm actually pretty glad that I finished this one. However, I definitely, out of this series, the first book was my favorite, and subsequent books kind of disappointed me, and I ended up giving this one 3 stars. I reread Hex Hall by Rachel Hawkins. This was a reread for me. It is about a girl who is a witch, and she basically fumbles with her powers one too many times and is forced to go to magical boarding school, and I ended up giving this 4 stars upon reread. I definitely hadn't read it in a while, and so I kind of forgot a couple of things, which is always fun, and I was rereading this with Dylan, so I kind of got to, you know, re-experience remembering everything, and it was a good time, and I need to remember to pick up the next one now that I've got the first one fresh in my mind again. Next, I read War Storm, which is the last book in the Red Queen series. I had been really enjoying this series. I really enjoyed the first book. However, as the books progressed, my enjoyment decreased, and I will say I was really disappointed. I won't go into too many details because this is the last book in the series. However, I did give this book 2 stars. I felt that this book was really long, and I felt that nothing truly happened until the end, and it kind of felt like, well, it didn't really have an end. And that's all I really will say about that. I read Look's Bride Test by Helen Huang. I received an e-arc of this through NetGalley in exchange for an honest review. I really enjoyed The Kiss Quotient. It was one of my favorite romance books of last year, and so I was really highly anticipating to seeing where this one went, and I was not disappointed. It was absolutely cute and super well rounded, and I'm really looking forward to where this series goes and where the next romance is, and I'm just really glad that I got to read it, and it was a fun time, and I ended up giving this book 4 stars. I read Girls on the Verge by Sharon Briggs Walker. I received an e-arc of this from Nick Alley in exchange for an honest review, and this is a story about young women from Texas going on a road trip in attempts to get an abortion. And I ended up giving this story 5. I knew from the moment that I started this book that this was going to be an important read, and I ended up giving it 5 stars, and it's necessary and eye-opening and very important, and I definitely recommend that you check it out. Next, I read Paperback Crush, which is a bind-up talking about 80s and 90s teen fiction. It is kind of like a coffee table style book. I ended up giving this book 3 stars. There were certain sections that I liked more than others. It was fun to kind of learn about, you know, what was the horror like and what were coming of age stories and stuff like that. And it was fun, but it definitely, some sections were better than others, and you could definitely tell it wasn't, it was coffee table style, so I ended up giving it 3 stars. The last thing I read this month was The Perfect Girlfriend. This book is a thriller, and I won't say super much about it. However, I will give you the vague synopsis of, it's about a woman who was dumped by her boyfriend, but she thinks that they are a perfect fit for each other, so she's going to do whatever it takes to get him back. I ended up giving this book 3 stars because I didn't think the ending was conclusive enough. However, I will say it is a whirlwind of a read, so you might enjoy it more than I did. So what about you? What did you end up reading in April? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like what you saw here today, be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching, and have a nice day!